Okay, some of us are meant to be in relationships and some of us aren't. It's destiny. There's not one or the other that's best. Oh, but God's made man and woman to be together, and that means you're supposed to be together. No, that's your belief. There's plenty of individuals who haven't been in a relationship or who haven't got married, and they're very, very happy because that's their destiny. Being in a relationship doesn't make you happy. Realizing your destiny makes you happy. Accepting your destiny makes you happy. This is the key ingredient to happiness. But we're talking about relationships. What is a relationship that works? I'm gonna say like this. Now, first of all, we might need to have some practice relationships before we get to the relationship that works. Got to go through training. There's a lot of things that we learn by being in relationships. I feel like I went through junior college and university and master school through relationships. I learned more, got higher level in consciousness probably through some of these relationships that I did doing my yoga and my meditation. And I've been in ashrams, and there's monks and people, brahmacharis, who have been there. They don't know anything about relationship. If they were to be in a relationship, their spiritual status would decrease, guaranteed. They'd get triggered in ways that they don't even know. Relationship will do that. So it makes you holistic. It'll find things, man, you don't even know that's in you, and it'll bring those things out. So you might need some practice ones before you get the good one. But again, there's no rule. Who did I meet? Or I was talking to somebody just not too long ago. Oh, I don't remember. It was a woman, though. She was like 65. And she said she met her husband when they were in high school. And they've been married ever since. She was his first and he's her first, and there you go. So it happens, There's no standard to anything. In this life, there's always exceptions. So when you're talking about relationship, a healthy one that works, it helps if both people are somewhat post-therapy. You don't want to be broken and then get into a relationship. When I say broken, just out of sorts mentally, emotionally, just a mess. Because you're in that stage where you're growing. You're like, you're in that evolutionary period. And then it can be tempting to want to get into a relationship because you're like, I need a break. Like, I want somebody just to love me and have sex, and I want to sexualize all this stuff away, and it's too much work. Can I go on a dating app and get a relationship? Yeah, then you'll get taken. And when you're desperate, you get taken. So it helps when both, a girl also, you don't get into the savior, like I want to save the girl. I can help her. I can impart my knowledge to her. She probably don't want your knowledge. She's not interested. She wants you to comfort her in her sickness, but she doesn't want to do anything to come out of it, or vice versa. See, there's all these dynamics and trauma bonds that get acted out in relationships. So you want both people to be somewhat post-therapy. That means that's why, like, older man, like 30s, 40. But you might need, like, there's no rule. Like, what are you going to do? You need some practice relationships to prep you for that, to prime you for that. That's cool. Like, life is going to do what life does. Life is our real teacher. We can't learn these things through books and online, and we can't. We have to go through the process. I'm just telling you a little bit what I feel the process to be is, as best as I can. And then you can, if that helps you, if that makes you feel good, then the video's for you. If it's not, then go watch something that's not this. So if both people are post-therapy, meaning they have some living wisdom, they've been around a little bit, healthy. You want some balance mentally and emotionally. There has to be some balance. That's what I mean by post-therapy. Like you somehow have allowed because we all have neuroticness and shortcomings and defects of character. Like that stuff comes up. It starts coming up at any age, but teenager, like you can be crazy for a while. All this insanity, and we're just nuts. So you want to transcend that to a degree. Can't be perfect, but to a degree. Law of attraction. The higher level you are in consciousness, the more clean and balanced you are, you're going to attract that girl. As long as you're not looking for a girl to save. That's another way the ego can come in. You can be solid, but then you have this defective character of like the sweet innocent girl. Oh, wow, I can really help her, poor girl. Yeah. So you have to don't fall for that. So both people, let's say they're mentally, emotionally balanced. Good. Then you have to have something in common. I don't want to say have to, like there's no absolutes, remember? But my experience with relationships, we had stuff in common. We had chemistry, like something to talk about. Not just a pretty face. You know how boring that gets after a while? Like what? Just a pretty face? Just sits there, has sex. I'm making another video about has to do with this, but yeah, you want some chemistry because that will sustain. That's sustaining. How do you find that? You figure out what you like to do and you go do that, and then you might meet a girl who's doing a similar thing. Then you'll have some chemistry. You'll have like something to talk about and bond with, and you have to have something in common. There has to be some matching. You don't have to match in all categories. It's like impossible, but match, like, okay, here's the matching categories. It can be physical attraction and then sexual compatibility and chemistry. I've spent time with girls who looked very good on paper, but we didn't have the sexual, I didn't feel like, I don't know, she didn't do much for me sexually. Had nothing to do with how she looks. There's something deeper going on. It just didn't do it for me. Then there would be like a girl next door who, she's pretty good, but we had really good, I don't know, man, our energy just fused. It was just, you forget how they look. You're like, when you're having sex, you're tuned in with the energy, and you're this energy exchange. Who cares? Like, what are you gonna look at her face when you're having? So, oh yeah, I'm really getting off because she looks good. No, man, this is more surface level way of having sex. So there's physical matching, sexual matching. There's emotional compatibility. Emotionally, you kind of, you vibe similar. Something happens, you feel something. When you see something happen, she feels something similar, so you can kind of discuss that. If somebody, if a little kid gets hit by the bully, see, some people may be like, oh, that's funny, like, look at a little kid, like he's getting ground and pounded. And then maybe somebody else would be like, damn. It might remind you of your history and her too. And so then you can kind of talk about that. You see, there's something like, there's some matching. Mentally, there needs to be some mental affinity to be able to, you want to hit the tennis ball and her be able to hit it back when you talk about stuff. You don't want to be dropping science and then she's just like, yeah, do you want to like go out somewhere? I'm like, no, I want to like discuss this subject. No, it's kind of boring. Really? Okay. So you want there to, there was a girl, she wasn't my girlfriend, but we connected super good, man. Super good. And she had medical knowledge, a lot of medical knowledge. I had a lot of holistic knowledge. And we would share that, right? Because it's different. Medical and holistic, it's different. And so we could talk for hours, just hours. We also had sexual chemistry and physical attraction. Emotionally, not matching as much, but these other categories were off the chart. That was fun. Spiritual, you see, how can I forget that? this is actually the main. This is the main thing. This is the main thing. This is. I've shared before in some of my videos about meeting the, call them soulmate girls. Meaning the chemistry is just, it's like God sent. God sent these girls to me, and everything was so cool. But spiritually, you see, if the consciousness of both individuals has to kind of be similar. If one starts going up too high, or vice versa, it's just a matter of time. It's not going to work. You know how many consults I've done, or sessions, private sessions with, and then they call and they're like, "Oh, I don't know, I'm feeling this and that, and I'm trying to talk about these things, and she you know." I'm like, I don't know, man. Just let's see what happens. Let it play out. Well, sometimes it's like this. I knew I was in a relationship with a girl, and actually my friend told me at first he liked her, and he said, "Bro, you can't give her what she wants, man." I said, "I know, man, but like, what do you want me to do? Go in and tell her like it's over?" I said, "This has to play out." We were matching on all the levels, man. Yeah, it was insane. Like, God will send you these girls you trust, but the consciousness wasn't the same. But, and also, I'm not relationship material, meaning this goes back to the beginning. We're talking about destiny. I don't. It's not in me to have a family and a partnership and have kids. It's just not. It's not my destiny. I've done that probably in previous lives, so it's just not activated now. But I wanted to enjoy some relationships before I got free of that desire, and I did that by grace. So sometimes these things have to play out. You can't just end them. But and same thing with the girl that I met when I was 22, the first real soulmate girl. Yeah, after about a year, the consciousness just wasn't wasn't vibing on the same frequency anymore. So if you have a certain degree of post-therapy in you, and mentally and emotionally balanced to a degree, there's some matching. Doesn't have to be in all categories. You can feel it. You can just tell. You're like, okay, we get it on pretty good. And if spiritually, whatever that means to you, means there's different levels. There's so many levels to everything. But when you talk about spirituality, if she likes, she's like down, and then you guys can talk together and go deeper into these subjects. For me, it's the highest subject there is. What else is there? There's spirituality, and then there's materialistic. This whole world's materialistic. The level of creation and doing this and that, and what's the goals and what's the ambitions, and yeah, it's like boring. It was fun when it was fun, but like most of us grow out of that at some point. I don't know, most of us, but some of us do. And I'm talking to you, I'm talking to those who know what I'm talking about. So when you start to contemplate like the purpose for being here on this planet, and is there a universal power that's actually running this show, and like, who am I anyway? What is this thing? I'm this little human body. Like, is this what I am? People can't even contemplate that question. There's questions most people cannot contemplate. Like, they can't contemplate death when they leave this body. How that's going to be. Like, imagine like somehow the body. What happens when your body stops working, when it expires? What's going to happen? Are you going to die forever? Or is some release, somehow there's going to be something you're going to, contemplating those things. And who am I? Like, what am I? Am I just a bundle of just instincts and desires and thoughts and feelings? And like, what is that? Who am I when all that, I call it software, if that's not there? If I didn't push run on any of that software, thoughts and feelings, desires, tendencies, instincts, goals, if I don't push run on any of that, who am I? Yeah, this kind of contemplation. If you can do that with a girl to whatever degree, whatever. Don't have to be these questions you contemplate, but I'm giving examples of my definition of spirituality. yeah, that will hold you together, man. That's where it's at. Because then there's something greater than just your relationship. I'm just please me. You need to please me, and I'm trying to please you. And it's very human level. Human. I made a video on my spiritual channel. This human thing or human life don't work. It isn't made to work. We're made to discover something beyond the human level, and then something can flow and it can feel like it works. So if you have all that, you're probably going to have, you're going to enjoy each other. You're going to enjoy each other. And you don't have to go so deep into spirituality. Look, I said it was important to match spiritually. It will also work if neither one of you, maybe if you don't even talk about spirituality, if neither one of you have any interest in spirituality, then it also might work, because it works. Then it's matching. And also, if you're post-therapy and you have some balance mentally and emotionally, just by good karma, then you can and you enjoy the level of creation. Like you both have similar goals. You want to save up and go to Tahiti or go to Bahamas and go to Hawaii or buy a new car, and oh, this is great. And yeah, if you got to have similar interest and be on similar frequency, and then it will work. Trust God will send you that person, because life is running this whole show. You're a character in the book that's already been written. Just wait for that chapter. It's going to happen. In the meantime, work on yourself, because then you have a much better chance of law of attraction working for you. Yeah. Get rid of the damn dating apps and all this stuff. Unless that's the stage you're in, you need to experience that. That's cool too. I didn't have to experience that much at all. I knew very quick, I can't do this. This is silly. You know, so we have to be where we're at. Honor where you're at. Don't judge yourself. Don't try to be somewhere else you're at. Don't listen to my words and then think you need to be that. You can't. You be where you're at. I'm not trying to be where I'm at. I'm just at where I'm at. Remember that movie? Rush Hour. No, Dead Presidents. I'm going to end on this. Chris Tucker. He's funny. He went to the party, and the girl says, Keisha's looking for you. He says, you tell that hoe I be where I be and I'm at where I'm at. He said, if I be everywhere you hoes want me to be, I'll be confused. He's funny. All right, I'll see you guys.